why I tried to become someone else. I can remember the moment as I reflect back in my life. It was 18 years old, me and all my peers who I've spent my entire life with. I swear, some of my friends I grew up with since preschool, middle school, elementary, high school, and we graduated high school. And all of them split from me and went to the university, and my grades weren't good enough to continue on with them. That was the moment I remember feeling, well, what am I going to do now? Everyone I've spent all my time with over the last 18 years, they're going to the university. And because I didn't do well enough in high school, now I got to go to the community college. And that broke me, man. Because they were moving forward together, and it really felt like I was taking a step back. It felt like I had to stay behind while all of them got to move on with their lives. And it was the first time that I can remember that I felt true and honest pressure that, holy shit, like I gotta try and be someone else, because what I'm doing, I don't know, I guess it's not working. It's why am I not, pressure. I felt the world smack me in the face, that all my friends got to go to this big, nice university, and I had to go to community college. I lost the structure. I lost that momentum. And the biggest thing is I feel like I lost that shared path that I depended on for a very long time, especially losing my father at 16 in high school. My friends were really all I had. And when they started to move on and I had to stay back, that was the first time I felt pressure from the world, I guess, from society, that damn, like I need to try and become someone else, because whatever I'm doing isn't working. I felt a lot of shame. Super, super shameful. So much embarrassment. Oh, I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I remember I was starting to make fun of the community college. It's a wonderful community college. There's nothing wrong with the community college. But I was so embarrassed that I had to go there. Literally none of them didn't, because you didn't have to have that. You had to get like a 2.5 GPA to get into this university. I couldn't even pull that off in high school. So I was extremely embarrassed. And the feelings continued, that being left behind feeling was very strong in my heart. And I feel like I carried that with me everywhere I went. Another big thing I felt was that I let myself down. Like, I wish, like in hindsight, if I knew I was going to experience that feeling, I would have definitely made sure I did my homework and not slacked off and did what I had to do. But I definitely let myself down, and that was the first time I feel like I really felt the consequences, real world consequences of my actions. And that was a heavy feeling, because looking around, it seemed like none of my friends, the dozens and dozens of really close, great friends I had growing up, I was very lucky. None of them let themselves down. I was the only one. And I was very well respected in high school. I was the top athlete, I was the popular one. And then we graduated. Everyone's moving on. Everyone's doing great things. Everyone's going to the university. Everyone's joining fraternities and starting sports, and life split. And it wasn't the community college. As much as I wanted to cast blame on the community college, it wasn't the community college. It was the separation. Man, it's crazy to journal and actually look back at this for the first time in my life and just have this recognition. And thinking back, like, it wasn't necessarily even where I was at that point. It was watching everyone else move on without me. Whew. Talk about an unbearable feeling. Unbearable. I didn't have the strength. I wish I did, but I didn't have the strength to deal with it. Whew. Because staying in my hometown means I had to deal with it. I had to sit with that. I had to sit with those feelings, and I wasn't going to do that. I was going to do everything in my power to escape having to sit with the feeling of having the people that meant most to me at the time, because I didn't have my father anymore. My best friends who I had countless experiences with. I wasn't going to sit with that feeling, It was unbearable. It was unbearable, like, doing anything around people or just, like, being seen where I was in life. Again, you got to remember I was a stud in high school. Everything came easy to me, which, looking back, I wish things didn't come easy to me. I wish I was lacking more in my life, but I wasn't. Yeah, it hurt, and it was unbearable. And that was the first time also I felt like time was running out for me. That was the first time I felt like I'm 18 years old, but I feel 40. You hear that all the time. I still sometimes joke around and say, I'm 30 years old. I feel like I'm getting old. At 18 years old, I felt old. I felt like time was running out. I felt the pressure of all that just hit me. It hit me hard. And I had no excuses. The only where to cast blame was myself. And I think down deep, I really, truly knew that, but I wasn't gonna sit with those feelings and try to understand and deal with all that. Because obviously I could have, done a semester or two at the community college for very cheap and been with my friends 6 months, 8 months, a year later, and it would have been jolly. But I obviously, I had to adapt, and I ran. I'm very good at running. I'm the runner. Sometimes I still think I run. I definitely looked at that time. I looked for something else to become. I was like, okay, I can't go to the university. I can't follow my peers. I can't follow my friends. I got to become something else. I got to look for something else to do, to become. It had to be something impressive. I had to impress my friends with whatever I was going to choose next, whatever choice I was going to make and tell my friends and for everyone to see me do and the rumors to start. I had to be doing something big and impressive. I had to find that. That was my next mission. Not sitting with these feelings like immediately, like almost like going home, like that day finding out I couldn't go to UNR or the college I was going to go to, University of Nevada. I had to figure out and look for something else to become. And like I said, it had to be impressive, man. Couldn't be mediocre, right? Had to find something that restored momentum and dignity. Oof. And I had to find it fast. Oh man, it's crazy. It's reflecting. I've never reflected like this, and it's just smacking me in the face. I had to find something to make the pain quieter, because I was hurting. I was hurting, and I didn't let anyone see it, and I didn't tell anyone, but I was hurting, and I was in a lot of pain. I was frustrated, and I was angry. But I feel like, whatever I was looking for, looking back now, it wasn't like I was chasing some type of success. I was chasing relief. Relief from the pain. A few days after high school, I said goodbye to my girlfriend, my mom, put my dog in the car, went down to LA, tried to become the next Denzel Washington, Will Smith. I wanted to be the biggest actor of all time. I've never acted in my life. And I decided to just run to LA and try to become an actor. And that's for whole nother video. But yeah, I went to Hollywood, lived on Hollywood Boulevard, and had that experience. But I definitely ran. It's interesting, man. I feel like most men, we don't chase success necessarily. We chase relief from falling behind. No guy, no man, no person, especially men these days, we don't want to fall behind. I wasn't chasing success. I was chasing the relief from falling behind. Because that's exactly what it felt like. I was falling behind. I should have listened to my dad and did my homework. And I'm not trying to give anyone advice. I'm just trying to have some recognition and be clear with my thoughts and my experience. But this isn't me telling you what to do. I'm not trying to be a guru or anything. If this resonates, I just want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. You adapted to the pain. You didn't have a language. I know I sure didn't. You weren't trying to become someone else because you were broken. You were trying to survive a moment that felt unbearable. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.